So hi everyone. So I think we are live, and yeah. So today is the first class for Python, and as we have we have already published a roster for like a different community edition. So today we are going to start with the Python, and again, so let me try to share my screen so that I can talk about a roster, and I can talk about like a different program that is going to happen. So just say yes if you are able to hear me. Yeah. So here like you can see in the data science section, so we are supposed to start like a DSCR, but there because of some technical issues, so we were not able to start today, right? So for sure we are going to start tomorrow. And here in this section, so yes, Python is scheduled for a Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday, 3 days a week. And just after Python, so from 11:30 this Spark session is going to start. So we'll talk about Spark in this particular section, and this is just a first class, right? So today we are going to talk about like an introduction about the Python, and what is Python basically, why people are using Python, and what and all different languages which is available, what is the advantage, what is the disadvantage that you will get if you are going to use Python, and many more things, right? We are going to discuss, we are going to talk about, right? So let's start this particular session. Yeah, and let's see how it goes. And if you have any kind of a question, if you have any kind of a concern, anything that you wanted to discuss, so you can just ping us on a chat box, and at the end of the session for sure I would like to take as many questions as possible from your live session, live chat, and for sure I would like to answer. Okay, so fine guys, let's try to start. And yes, I think we have already started this particular session, right? So Jivitesh was taking care of this session, and for sure like of like a 5 days in a week, so he is going to talk about a different kind of a bug fixing, that what can all different kind of a bugs that we generally get, and how we can fix it, a common installation that is required for machine learning, that is required for deep learning, how to do a debugging, and many more things, right? So many more things, even from your side, so you can try to suggest us something if you have, and for sure we'll try to accommodate. Now, so Python syllabus wise, syllabus if I'll talk about, right? So Python syllabus that we are going to discuss, or we are going to cover, is two hues, right? So if I'll talk about Python syllabus, so first of all I will try to start from an introduction of a Python. So here you can see we have a Python overview, and then we'll talk about installation, right? So what and all things that you can install, what and all different kinds of tools are available, and many more things, right? Many more things you will be able to see. And after that, so how you can try to create a variable, what is the meaning of variable, how memory management happens basically inside a variable. And then we will be talking about like a control flow, like a if, else, do, while kind of a statement, or for loop kind of a statement. So we'll be talking about, and then in a same sequence, right? So in a same sequence, as you can see, right? So we can talk about different kind of operators, right? So as a beginner, yes, we should know about different kind of operators, different kind of variables, or container, or how we can create a function, or maybe like a iterator, generator, which is like a very much important as far as like an interview is concerned. So people used to ask lots and lots of questions from this particular part, iterator and generator. So we'll talk about this one now. So there is something called as a file input output, so we'll talk about that as well. And then we'll talk about some of the operating system utilities, right? So like a different kind of a function which comes along with the package called as OS, right? So OS package, so we'll talk about that one. Then how you will be able to do a login, because whenever we try to write some kind of a code, Python code basically, right? So we always try to do a logging, we always try to do a debugging, right? And then on top of that, so we try to build a models and modules, different module programming that we used to do, and how we can try to import, how we can try to keep all those modules in sync. So we'll talk about this one as well. And then there is something called as a oops concept, right? So oops concept we'll try to discuss in very detail this time, for sure. So not only we'll try to talk about like a classes or objects, but on top of that, so we'll see some of the heavy programming as well in oops. And then we are going to talk about like a exception handling, which is very much important again whenever you will try to productionize your code. So we'll talk about that. And then like how you can try to merge a multiple Jupyter notebook project, right? So suppose many of you must be using a Jupyter notebook or maybe a Google Colab. So we'll try to discuss that, okay, how to you can try to like merge all of those things, and then a couple of projects we'll try to discuss. So like a how the small project in a very first place, the small project we'll try to discuss. So like how you can try to send a mail, or how you can try to resize an images into a Python. It's a very basic project, but yes, so depends upon the discussion that we are going to initiate till 14th point, right? So we'll try to build this kind of a project for sure. And then we'll talk about Pandas and Numpy. So as we all know that Pandas and Numpy is very important things, right? So Pandas and Numpy is very important thing, and I think we should know about Pandas and Numpy. So whenever we are planning to do something in a data science, so Pandas and Numpy for sure we'll try to talk about. And then visualization. So Pandas and Numpy in terms of a data manipulation, in terms of file manipulation, and many more things. So like as a data scientist, for sure your day is going to start in a Pandas. So we'll talk about this one. And again, so like a Numpy we'll try to discuss. And on top of that, so we'll be talking about Matplotlib, which is a visualization library. Then we are going to talk about a Seaborn, Plotly, and then cufflinks. And then we'll talk about like a SQLite, right? So SQLite is again a lightweighted in-memory database, and for to build many small applications, so we are going to use this SQLite. So we are going to talk about a SQLite, and then we'll talk about a MySQL, then we'll talk about NoSQL, which is nothing but it's a MongoDB or Cassandra, right? So MongoDB and Cassandra both we'll try to talk about. And again, so when we are talking about a MongoDB, so we'll try to discuss MongoDB offline mode, plus we'll try to talk about a MongoDB in a online mode. So both of these versions we are going to cover. And then memory management, because it's not required as a data scientist, but whenever you try to build or develop some kind of a product, at that point of a time, memory management is very much important, right? So you will try to understand, will try to understand that what is memory management, right? So whenever we declare a variable, so how we can try to like a control like a memory consumptions, or maybe how we can try to call a garbage collector, or maybe how we can try to destroy those kind of a variable which we are not using, like how it happens basically through a Python interpreter, through a Python compiler, and many more things. And many more things we'll try to talk about. And then we will try to discuss, we'll try to talk about like a Flask application, because Flask is required to build any kind of a like application that you have to productionize. So we'll try to talk about that as well. And then we'll try to discuss, or we'll try to create one small app by using all of these above things that we are going to discuss, we are going to talk about. And then we'll try to talk about like a Django. So Django and Flask is a Python based web API framework. You can try to develop like and those who are not aware about a web API, it's completely fine, right? You're not supposed to worry about that, what is web API, how we are going to create, how it is going to communicate in between a multiple application. So you are not supposed to like worry about all of those things. It's completely fine. We'll try to understand, and then we'll try to talk about like a Flask and Django. So this things is like a completely fine, right? You guys are not supposed to worry about all those things. And then we'll try to talk about this application, our weather application. So how we can try to create our own weather application. So we have designed, we have structured these things in such a way that, so let's suppose if I'm talking about like a small part of the syllabus, so after that you will be able to build something, and then we'll try to make some kind of a progress, and then again, so we'll try to build some other application, right? So weather application we are going to talk about. And then like a memes generator, it's one of a kind of a fun project, right? So memes generator like we are going to talk about, and like a Django blog app we'll try to create. So these are the things that we are going to talk about, these are the things that we are going to discuss, right? And then like a Q&A, so what in all kind of a questions that people may ask, right, as a fresher maybe. So whenever you are going for a Python interview, so what in all kind of a question that people can ask you, so each and everything we will be talking about in your Q&A. So this is the whole syllabus that we have designed. This time we have revamped the old syllabus, old Python syllabus, and this is the new syllabus that we are going to discuss, we are going to talk about, where so we have tried implementing almost every like a basic to advanced concept. And again, so at the same point of a time, so we are trying to talk about a multiple project, so 6 to 7 application we are going to talk about, we are going to discuss, and we are going to build it in a class class itself. So this is how like this entire things is going to flow. This is how this entire things is going to happen in case of a Python. So again, it's a huge module that we have designed. And again, so timing wise, maybe it is going to take like a 3 month of time approximately, because it's a huge syllabus that we have designed. So I think it is going to take like a more than 3 months of time, including like a project, including applications inside a Python. And then we are like a good to move like anywhere, right? We are good to go in any anywhere. So these are things that we'll be talking about. Now let's try to see some of your questions, right? So let's see what all questions that you have. Yeah. So okay, so you guys, you can try to like post your question over here. I would like to answer. Looks very fascinating. So yes, it is. How much it will take? So it will take around like a 3 month of time, right? Like I said. So when will a full stack development class start? So it is going to start from like a as per the schedule. So from today we have like a started releasing like a many things, right? So again, so in the same sequence, whatever like discussions that we have done, or whatever roster that we have presented in front of every one of you, so this is our same roster that we are like going to like a follow. And this is the same thing like it's just a first day, right? So in a first day, I think we all know that this is like a so many classes we have released. So like it takes time. So within 1 or 2 days, so everything will be like fine. And like everything will be in a smoothest possible way. It is going to happen. And those who are talking about a syllabus, so syllabus will be available in the same like this particular like a YouTube video, so in a description tab. So after this session, I'll make sure that by tonight, so your syllabus will be updated, and then you will be able to like perform, you will be able to go through a syllabus. Yeah. So what all we will be covering in a Spark. So let's wait for a Spark session. I'll talk about like these things in a Spark session. Okay. So and again, so will the Python notebook you will be work on will be shared with us for reference? Yes. So whatever, right? Whatever discussions that we are going to do. So after every session means like by night for sure. So for each and every session, the notebook file will be available, or I'll try to like publish in such a way that by the time we'll be live, right? So at that point of a time itself, you all will be able to download and you all will be able to practice, because see, Python is a programming language, right? So we should practice. So maybe what you can do is, so you can try to open up a Jupyter notebook or maybe a Google Colab, or I'll tell you what and all different tools are available, IDs are available. So you can try to open up those tools in parallel with me, and then you can try to practice. So that is basically our best way to learn Python. So because it's just a language, right? So it's not a kind of algorithm that we are going to talk about, right, where you have to sit and you have to listen for like a 1 hour. So it's just a programming language, and more you will practice, more you will be able to get into a Python, and more like expertise you will be able to get. Yeah. So this is something that we have released. And yeah, so like this is a timing for Python, 9:15 to 10:15, and then from 10:30 to 11:30, so we'll be having a Spark session. And before that, right, so before 8 to 9, so 8 to 9, like again my session will be there, so DSAR. So almost like 3 to 4 days to 5 days, I think I'm going to take like a 3 hour of session on a daily basis. Yeah. So like you can sit peacefully, and then you can try to learn like coding, right? That will be like a better, that will be better. You all will be able to like perform, or you all will be able to do a coding from your side. Yeah. So fine guys. Now, so yeah, so like someone is asking that can fresher who don't know Python will be able to understand? Yes, I'm going to start from a very scratch. Today it will be just a introduction session, and then we'll try to talk about like we'll try to understand, and we'll try to talk about like installation part basically, right? So what and all things we are supposed to install, what and all IDs are available, and many more things you will be able to understand, right? So let's try to see, let's try to understand it. Okay. So fine guys, and don't try to spam, otherwise like we have like an option from here, right? So we'll be able to remove you in that case. It's a learning platform, so all of you can join and all of you can learn. I think that would be better. Okay. So fine. Will there be any overlapping with the ML course? So you can say that ML course we have just started, and I think last week Saturday, and we have just done an induction session for that one, right? So what you can do is, so yes, you can try to start with the ML if you want, and then in parallel to that, so you can try to like learn Python. Anything is fine. So it depends upon like your comfortable zone, so you can just try to pick and choose. But here in this session, so I'll back to back, I'll keep on talking about like I'll keep on discussing about Python classes, right, in a live session itself. So we'll talk about like everything. I'm going to talk about like a Python, and as per the roster, so other things will be covered. So fine guys, first thing that we are going to do, or we are going to talk about, is like installation, right? So I think this is the first class, and we must be ready with the installation and a Python introduction. Okay, so whether Python is a like a interpretable language, or how Python try to executes all of those code, so we'll try to understand, we'll try to discuss. But before that, make sure that like a tools IDs are available in your system, so that whenever we are going to talk about a project, whenever we'll talk about a live coding, so you all will be able to do that. Okay, so fine. So the first installation that you have to do in a very generic way, and again I'll talk about like a online option, offline option, and all those who are aware about Python. So I think this is nothing new that we are going to discuss, this is nothing new that we are going to talk about. But yes, those who are just a beginner, right, because I'll just try to start from a very basic, and then I will try to get into a advanced section. So those who are a beginner, so they can start following like a this video from today onwards, and yes, try to learn and try to practice, because practice is the only like a things that you can do, and by which you will be able to get some kind of a mastery in a Python, or in any programming language, right? So it's applied for like it's been applicable for any kind of programming language that we are going to talk about. Okay, so now like installation wise, the very first installation that you will have to do is, so just go to Google, right? Just go to Google and try to type Anaconda. So just try to type Anaconda download. So Anaconda is basically a package that you will be able to find out. So just try to search by a name Anaconda download. And once you will be able to hit the link, right, a very first link for a download, so you will be able to see in a bottom of the page of this Anaconda Navigator. So don't worry, I'll try to post this link as well in your like a detailed description of a YouTube video. But just for now, I'm talking about these things. So just for now, so like here you will be able to find out all sort of option for like a different operating system. So whether you are using a Windows, or whether you are using a Mac machine, or whether you are using a Linux machine, right? So you can try to download any of these version, it's completely fine, and it's completely free, freely available to each and every one of you. There is no charges that they are going to take, so it's completely fine. So those who are using Windows like me, right, so they can just try to click on this like installer, 64-bit installer, and it will be fine. And those who are using like a Mac machine, so they can try to go ahead with this first version. Those who are using a Linux machine, so they can try to go ahead with this one, it's completely fine. Once you will be able to download, right, once you will be able to download, so just with the help of few clicks, you will be able to install it, and it's not a big file. So I think quickly you all will be able to download it. So now in my system, I have already installed Anaconda, and again, so installation is not a big deal. So once you will be able to download, just click, right? So just like a click a step you have to follow, nothing else you have to do, right? And here I'll try to share like an installation a document as well, so those who will struggle, so yes, not an issue. So we'll try to share this document with you. And here in this like things, this particular like a Jupyter notebook file, so you will be able to get almost a detail of all the IDs, right, and how you are going to do installation. So from where you can download Anaconda, and from where like you will be able to download like a distribution for a Mac machine, or where you will be able to download like a distribution for a Linux machine. So each and everything is mentioned over here, like a this particular seed that we have created, and what in all like a version of a Linux machine that you will be able to get, what is the installer that you will be able to find out for that one. So we have mentioned each and everything in very detail in this particular notebook, which will be available, and you all will be able to access it for sure by tonight. Yeah, so in the same video, a detailed description link itself, you all will be able to find out this particular notebook. And again, so on top of that, so like a Sublime editor, so here we are actually going to talk about a multiple different kind of a ID, not just one, right? So you can try to use Anaconda Python, or maybe you can try to use a Sublime text editor, maybe you can try to use a VS Code, maybe you can try to use a Python idle, you can try to use Atom, you can try to use Jupyter Notebook, offline, online, both you will be able to use. Jupyter Lab you will be able to use, Spider you will be able to use, Pycharm you will be able to use. So there are many different IDs which is available online as well as in offline mode that you will be able to use. So doesn't matter which IDs you are going to use, you will be able to execute your Python code, right? But at the same point of a time, so whenever we try to work on a project, so as a learner, right, as a learner, things are fine, you can use any kind of a ID. But whenever we talk about a actual development, a development of a project, let's suppose if I'm trying to develop some machine learning or some deep learning project, so at that point of a time, right, so at that point of a time, so you are supposed to use some of the well managed IDE like a VS Code, or maybe you can try to use a Pycharm. You can't do an entire project development in a Jupyter notebook itself. No, it's not possible actually, because we always try to write a modular coding. As a learner, it's completely fine. You can try to use a Jupyter notebook, you can try to use online version of Jupyter notebook, offline version of Jupyter notebook, Google Colab you will be able to use. Everything is fine. But at the same point of a time, right, so in a project to do a modular coding, so I don't prefer basically, right, because I will not be able to get a flexibility when I'm going to use like a Jupyter notebook to develop my end-to-end project. And even across an industry, right, we don't use a Jupyter notebook in a simplest possible way. We don't use a Jupyter notebook for a production grade code. So we always try to use some full-fledged ID. So yes, we do have those things, like a VS Code is there, like a Pycharm is there. Again, some people likes a VS Code, some people likes a Pycharm. So it depends upon you, right? It depends upon you, what do you like, and you can just opt for any of either of these things. We don't have any kind of issue. So again, it will be able to execute your Python code. You will be able to build any kind of a project for this one. Okay, so this is agenda for today. So we have already downloaded this Anaconda. My download is complete. Now what I can do is I can just try to click on next, right? And then I will be able to install. Just you have to do a few clicks. That's it. Nothing else you have to do. So just with the help of few clicks, you will be able to install Anaconda inside your system. Now, what is Anaconda? So Anaconda is nothing but it's a package. It provides you a package in a single like a interface itself, so that like many things, because whenever you try to work in Python, so it's not like you just need a Python exe file. You need some other supportive like a in like a library as well. And again, so as you will move inside a machine learning project, a deployment, or a deep learning project, or maybe computer vision, or maybe NLP project, so you will find out and you will feel that I need some external library as well. So unless and until you are not going to install those external library inside your system, so you will not be able to execute a code. So these things are very easy, right? So whenever you are going to use Anaconda distribution, right, so in that case these things are too easy. You all will be able to do it in a easiest possible way. So as you can see guys, like I have already installed it. It just like took I think like a not even more than 1 minute to do installation. So you just have to, in the similar way, right, in the similar way, you just have to like download it, you have to install it, and then your work is done, right? So and then your work is done. So it's a very simple one. And then what you can do is you can try to go to your Windows bar, right, search bar, and then try to search Anaconda. So when you will search for Anaconda, you will be able to get Anaconda Navigator option, and you will be able to get Anaconda prompt option. So these are the two options that you will be able to get. Now Anaconda prompt is nothing but it's a command line interface for your Anaconda. It's not your Windows CMD. So Windows CMD is something different, right? So Windows CMD is something different. This is how my Windows CMD looks like. But at the same point of a time, if I'll try to open up my Anaconda Navigator, so you will be able to differentiate both of these things, right? So here you will be able to find out like it's written as a base, and then here you will be able to find out that it's written as like there is no base, and again, so it's a command prompt, and here you will be able to find out that it's a Anaconda prompt, right? So these two things are actually like a different, right? And yes, like a there is a like it is both of these things are going to hit a different environment. When I say like these two things are different, it simply means that both of these things are going to hit a different environment. That is the only differences that you will be able to find out. Now we have to work in a Anaconda prompt. We are not looking for a command prompt, we are not looking for a CMD from your Windows, or maybe like a as like a this kind of a screen. So we are actually looking for this Anaconda prompt. So like I think if you are able to see these things in your system, so we are good. It simply means that your Anaconda installation is done, and we are good with that. Now what is our next step? So let's try to search again Anaconda, and let's try to launch another screen, which is nothing but it's a Anaconda Navigator, right? So once I'll try to click on this one, it will take some time. And again, so if you are using maybe i3 system, i5 system, so maybe what will happen is like it will take maybe like a couple of minutes for you to open up, right? But yes, Anaconda command prompt will be like a fast. So if you have to launch something in a very quick way, so yes, you can try to use Anaconda prompt. Otherwise, if you wanted to use a GUI kind of an interface, so you can do that. And again, so if I'll talk about this GUI, right? So this is something called as a Anaconda Navigator, and it's very simple to search. Simple like a call Anaconda Navigator, and then click done, right? And after like a couple of seconds, so yes, this kind of a screen will pop up, and here, right, so here in this particular screen, so you will be able to see a many different boxes, or many different like a tab you will be able to see. Now what is a meaning of this different kind of a tab that we have? So here you can see that we have a Pycharm, right? So in this case, like a CMD exe we have, again we are going to use Jupyter Lab over here, Jupyter Notebook we have over here, we have a Spider, right? We are not going to use RStudio for sure. You can try to use Qt console, you can try to use this PowerShell prompt as well, right? So these are the things like there is so many things that you will be able to find out in this particular place. And yes, you can try to launch any of these things from your Anaconda prompt itself. It will be able to launch it, right? In a quickest possible way, you will be able to launch each and everything. And by default, right, so by default you will be able to find out that your application will be available on a base environment. So now what is a meaning of a base environment, how I will be able to create a multiple environment, all of those things will be discussed, because whenever we are going to create one single project, right, so we'll try to discuss and we'll try to understand that, okay, how I will be able to create a multiple environment. And again, so you will be able to understand a significance of a multiple environment as well. So as you can see, like I have a multiple environment, a different environment I have. If I'll click over here, so I have a base environment, which is a default one, then project one, project two, Python project. So I have so many different kind of an environment we use to create, and depends upon the project. Why? What is the reason, right? So all of those things will be discussed, right? But as of now, just try to understand that yes, we can try to create a multiple environment. How and why, we'll try to understand. We'll try to understand these things. So now if I'll come to this home part, right, so I can see like a many different tab, and I can try to use like a many of these tools, right, to write my Python code and to execute my Python code. It's too like it's very easy, right? So like I said, right, so this particular Anaconda Navigator can be slow, so it will be better if you can try to use Anaconda prompt, and then from there if you will be able to launch, I think that will be much better, right, as compared to launching this any IDs from here from your Anaconda Navigator. Now so here you will be able to see environment, and again I can try to like check that what and all things are installed in this environment, right? So I will be able to see each and everything. So like these many libraries are already installed, right, inside this particular environment that I've opened up, which is a base environment for me. So in the similar way, you can try to create any number of an environment, and then you will be able to install any number of the packages over there, right? So this is like a how easy it is in terms of doing an installation, or in terms of like maintaining a project, in terms of maintaining a version of a different installation for a different project. So Anaconda provides you all such kind of flexibilities and facilities, many more things that Anaconda used to provide by default, right? Okay, now so what we have to do, so we have already installed Anaconda. Now the next step, right? So let me check some of the question from your side, guys. Okay, so those who have like a issue with your fonts and everything, just try to like click on a zoom, you can just try to like open up this entire like you can just try to go on full screen mode. I think that will be better. Yeah. And yes, so like I can see some of you are like facing some issue with the video quality. So we are trying to do these things in a 720p. So I think it will be clear. So you can just try to go to your setting. I think you have to change your setting in this way. Yeah. So and just click on full screen. So things will be better in a full screen mode. Okay. And when I'll talk about a code part, so yes, I'll try to zoom in everything. Okay. Fine, guys. Those who are talking about like whether it's a paid course or not, so no, it's not a paid course at all. It's a community edition, and where we are going to talk about like a back to back as per our roster. So we are going to talk about all of those things. Okay, so will this class will be uploaded in a separate playlist? Yes. So there will be a separate playlist we are going to create for like all the community edition, and that's the reason. So we have just removed all the previous videos, right? We have unlisted all the previous videos so that you guys will be able to see the playlist, and then inside the playlist, respective playlist, you will be able to go through it and you will be able to watch. Yeah. And even roster will be like a tagged in the same video description, right? So in every video description roster we are going to publish, so don't worry about that. And it's anytime, so you can try to go through a roster and then you will be able to get it, right? So fine, guys. Now so moving ahead. Okay, so moving ahead. So now we were trying to install basically like a Anaconda. Once this installation is done, then what you can do, you can try to search for Anaconda prompt, right? And hit enter. So once you will try to hit enter, right? And let's suppose if you are going to type like a Jupyter notebook, NOTBOOK, Jupyter notebook, right? So you just have to type this one. I think I have just zoomed in my screen, right? So I think it will be visible to every one of you. So you just have to type like a Jupyter notebook. This is the spelling, JUPYTER space NOTEBOOK. So once you will hit enter, right? Once you will hit enter after Jupyter notebook, so it will take some time, right? Maybe like a 30-second of time it is going to take, and then it is going to launch this particular screen in your default browser. So whether it can be like, it can possible that you are using maybe Edge as a default browser, or maybe Chrome as a default browser, or maybe Mozilla Firefox as a default browser. So in your default browser you will be able to see this kind of a screen on your local host. On your local host, it simply means that this entire thing is executing on your local host. Those who are not able to get these things in the browser, couple of you are going to face some kind of a problem. So in that case, what you can do is you can try to copy this link, right? You can try to copy this link and then just use it in your browser, and you will be able to get a same thing, right? So by the time you will launch your Jupyter notebook, so in your command prompt itself you will be able to see a HTTP link as well, right? So you can try to use either this link or you can try to use this link. Both are same, right? And both by which you will be able to launch your Jupyter notebook. So if your Jupyter notebook is not launching itself automatically, not to worry about that, right? You can come over here in this particular screen, and then from here, so you can try to launch your local Jupyter notebook. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Now, what is Jupyter Notebook, right? So again, Jupyter Notebook was available even over here, right? So what is Jupyter Notebook, by the way? So Jupyter Notebook is nothing but it's a BIV based IDE, integrated development environment, you can say, but it's a BIV based, right? So everything happens in a browser itself, right? So it is going to like a call all the Python services in a browser itself. Through that, it will be able to submit your code, and then it will be able to like get a response from the Python compiler, from the Python interpreter, right? So it's a place where you will be able to execute your Python code as in a simplest possible way, if I have to say, right? So like this Jupyter Notebook is a place where you will be able to execute all of your code, and there are many more things that you will be able to do. The way we used to create a documentation, so even you will be able to create your own documentation, right, in a similar way, right? You can try to insert a picture, you can try to insert a different kind of a code snippet, you can try to insert like a write-ups, links, everything you will be able to do in your Jupyter Notebook itself, like along with executing your Python code, right? And doesn't matter that how many line of code that you are going to execute, yes, it will be able to execute for sure. So once you will be able to see this particular page, right? So where I'm going to execute my code, so I can try to execute my code by creating a new, right? So you just have to click on new, right? And then if you will try to click on Python 3, as we have already installed a Python 3.x, Python 2.x, you are not supposed to you're not supposed to launch, or you're not supposed to like a install. So we are looking for a Python 3.x. It can be 6, 7, it can be 8. We don't have any kind of a issue, because if you're using 2, so Python 2.x, so in that case you are going to face a problem, right? You will not be able to execute most of the code given by us, because like a Python 2.x is a too old version, right? And even across the industry, so we are using Python 3.x, maybe not a latest one, but yes, we are using 3.x even across the industry. So what you can do is you can just try to click on new, and then you can try to click on Python 3, right? So once you will be able to click on Python 3, so it can take some time, maybe some time, and then you will be able to get a Jupyter Notebook. So just wait. It doesn't take this much of time in general. Okay, so it's loading. So yeah, I think we'll have to wait, or maybe I can try to relaunch my Jupyter Notebook again. Okay, so let me do one thing. I would like to relaunch my Jupyter Notebook. Sometimes it happens because I have opened up multiple sessions. Okay, so now you can see that in a quickest possible way. So I'm able to launch it, right? So this is my Jupyter Notebook, and like I said, so it's a BIV based framework, right? So you can try to open up these things, and you will be able to perform different kind of operations, a Python operation. So if I have to verify that whether it's working or not, so maybe I can try to do like a 1 plus 2, and yes, if I'm able to get some calculation, so in that case I can say that yes, I will be able to execute all of my code over here. There are multiple sections that you will be able to get, right? So we'll talk about those different sections as well in tomorrow's class. I'll try to give you a walkthrough of a Jupyter Notebook in tomorrow's class. So if till this point, right, if everything is working fine, so I think we are good with these things. And yes guys, just say yes if you are if you are able to do it, and if you are able to install it. So you can just ping me on your chat box, and yes, I will be able to see that. Just say yes. Okay, fine. So guys, see, we are going to follow a very simple pattern, right? So whatever I'm going to do, so you have to do it in parallel. As simple as that, right? So this is the pattern that we all are going to follow going forward, right? So that we'll try to practice, we'll try to learn together, right? And I'll keep on taking questions from your side, so that we all will learn together, right? And like we'll try to start from the basic, and we'll try to get into a too advanced part, so that after that Python should not even exist. So if someone will ask you to code something in Python, you must be able to do it. Yes. Okay, so I am able to see yes, many yes from your side, guys. So fine, thank you so much. And now, so let's move ahead. Now, the next installation, I'll talk about this Jupyter notebook, right? So what is the meaning of all of those things? How I can download it? How I can try to save it? How I can try to rename it? What is the meaning of kernel over here? What is the meaning? What are all options which is given to you, and everything, right? So we'll talk about each and everything in tomorrow's session, but we have to do another installation as well, right? So let's try to move to a next installation. So the next installation that you have to do, right? And again, so here in this Anaconda prompt itself, you will be able to find out many different tools as well. So Jupyter notebook in your local system is completely fine, but it doesn't mean that you will be able to perform if you have only installed a Jupyter notebook. No, it doesn't mean it doesn't looks in that way, right? So what you can do is, so you can try to go to Google, right? You can try to go to Google and then try to search Jupyter, like a Jupyter, Jupyter notebook online, right? So you can try to search for Jupyter notebook online, and then you will be able to get hundreds of links, right? So there are many vendors who is providing you an online Jupyter notebook. So just click on anyone, right? So let's suppose if I have clicked on first one, I can try to click over here, right? And any link, right? So doesn't mean that whatever link I'm using, you can use the same link. Yes, you can use the same link, or else you can try to use something else. So there are many people, right? There are many organization who is providing you an online version of a Jupyter notebook. You can use it. It's freely available to you. Some of them are some of the thing are chargeable, but yes, most of the time, so it will be available to all of you. So you can use any a Jupyter notebook which is available on a online platform, and you can try to do your coding on that particular platform itself, right? So yes, just wait for another 30 seconds, and yes, I think my Jupyter notebook is done. My Jupyter notebook is ready, right? So even over here, you can go to new, and then you can try to launch a new notebook. So if I'll click over here, so yes, this is a new notebook again. So you can try to select a kernel. So whether you are looking for a Python 3 or maybe something else that you are looking for. So I'm looking for Python 3 actually, right? And again over here, so I'll just try to do a small test, 1 plus 3. So if I'm going to write, right, or let's suppose 1 plus 2 if I'm going to write, so I just have to check that whether these things are working or not. And yes, these things are working fine for me, right? These things are working fine for me. So this is again another platform. So you can try to use any online platform, and again, so you all will be able to download it, you all will be able to check in inside a GitHub, and many more things you will be able to do it. So it's doesn't it's not necessary, right, to do an installation. So let's suppose if your system configuration is very low, right? Maybe if you are using an older version of i3, so it doesn't mean that to learn Python or to learn machine learning, right, so you have to buy a new system. It's completely fine. So what you can do is you can just try to open up some online platform, right, where so you will be able to execute your code. But yes, going forward, it's good to have a average kind of a system, right? But it's not must to have, right? Okay. So I think we all are able to launch this one, right, online platform as well. Plus one of the most famous platform that you will be able to get is a call as Google Colab, right? So again, Google Colab is the online platform. I'll talk about advantages as well that you will be able to get. So just try to search like a Google Colab. So you will be able to get this link, a Google Colab link, right? So just you have to search a Google Colab. This is the first link, right? Just click over here, and then so you can try to create a new notebook even over here in this particular place, even in a Google Colab. So you all will be able to create it, and this is again a online platform, right, which has been provided by Google, and there are some advantages you will be able to get. You all will be able to get over to a online a platform. So let's try to run this test first of all. So yes, it is like a connecting to the server. It will try to allocate and a space for you, and then you will be able to execute your code back to back. So yes, like I'm able to get my answer, right? So this is a Google Colab, and here, right? So here you will be able to get many different options. So Google Colab is going to provide you a free GPU as well as a free TPU. It is going to provide so graphical processing unit and tensor processing unit. So even if you are trying to do some kind of a exhaustive operation, right, like which is going to take like a lots of resources from your local system in terms of a RAM and in terms of a CPU, right? So you can try to execute all of those things in a Google Colab. That is completely fine. You will be able to use it. But let's suppose if I'm trying to do a training, right? Let's suppose if I'm trying to do like a machine learning model training, or maybe a deep learning model training. So in that case, right, in that case, let's suppose if my model is going to take a too long time, right? If I have a huge data set, if my model is taking like a too much of time, maybe like a 1 hour, 2 hour, 12 hour. So in that case, Google Colab, right, is not a best option, because it will decommission, it will keep on decommissioning your resources, right? It will try to reallocate again and again and again. So you will your resources will not be a consistent one. It's a shared resources that you are using, right, when you are using a Google Colab. And in that case, right, in that case, you will not be able to train your model. But if it is a small data, small like a file that you have, and if it is not taking much time, in that case, yes, it's fine. You all will be able to train a model in a Google Colab itself, or even in local, you will be able to create it. But as far as like a project is concerned, we don't do project in any of this notebook version. All of these things are what? It's a notebook, right? So we don't do any of these things in a notebook version at all. We always try to go ahead with a full-fledged, a full-scale IDE. But yes, so immediately, if you are not able to install Anaconda, so you should not uh, feel like you won't be able to execute a Python code. There are many online stable platforms are given to you, right, for execution of Python code. So it's completely fine. You can try to use any of these platform, and there won't be any kind of a issue. Yeah. So fine, guys, here I can maybe try to select a GPU, I can try to select a TPU, or any kind of a things. And in this way, it will try to allocate me a GPU, it can allocate a TPU, tensor processing unit, or a graphical processing unit, which is having like a high like a capacity or high amount of resources to execute your code or to train your model, right? So yes, guys, you can try to use again, functionality wise, whether you are trying to execute something in your local or something in Google Colab, or maybe on an online platform provided by many vendors, right? So you all will be able to see, you all will be able to see almost similar, I can say, an almost similar kind of an option each and every time. So if you are able, if you're comfortable with like a one mode, so yes, you can try to switch to the another mode. So these are the places where we are going to execute a code. But when we'll try to get into a project part, right, so at that point of a time, you need either a VS code or you need a Pycharm, right? So these are the things which is required. Like I said, either a VS code or you need a Pycharm, right? So again, some of us like using some of us love using like a Pycharm, or some of us like generally try to use like a VS code, right? Both are fine. Both are completely fine for any kind of a full scale project development. And again, so both are just an IDE, integrated development environment. You can use any of these things, and almost like every kind of option you will be able to get in both, right? Yes, there will be like a couple of plugins or a couple of options that you will be able to get in VS code and that you won't get in Pycharm, or vice versa. It's just a trade-off. But yes, for like a developing an end-to-end project, Pycharm or right, so Pycharm or VS code is one of the best option. And in general, right, in general, so I generally use like a Pycharm. So I like Python is good for me. So like I have just a habit of using a Pycharm or maybe Eclipse or something like that. Yeah. So if I have to install a Pycharm, what you can do is you can just try to search Pycharm, right? And yes, hit enter. So you will be able to see the screen, and here you can go and you can download Pycharm. So Pycharm is basically an IDE, right? And you can just click on download, and then here you will be able to see a professional version and a community version for all of these operating system, whether you are using a Mac or whether you are a Linux user or whether you are a Windows user. So you all will be able to see, or you all will be able to find out these additions. Okay, now so always try to download a community edition. Don't try to download a professional edition because it will just come with the trial, and then after some time, so you will have to pay for that, and then only, right? So then only you will be able to use it. So it's better. It's better to go ahead with a community edition. It gives you every kind of a things, right? And even like a client side debugging, server side debugging, and many more flexibilities that you will be able to get. You can integrate n number of plugins in a same platform itself. So just you have to like a click and then download after some time. So yes, like a download will start and it will be able to download in a couple of seconds. Once you will end up doing a download, and then you can start doing an installation. So once you will be able to install all of those things, so after that you will be able to see a screen somewhat like this. Yeah, so you all will be able to see a screen somewhat like this one. Now this is called as a Pycharm IDE, right? So this is something called as a Pycharm IDE. You will be able to get like a almost every kind of a option in this IDE. You can create any kind of a modular project, right, in an easiest possible way. You will be able to do a check-in from here. You will be able to maintain and manage your CI/CD pipeline as well, right? And like a yes, server side debugging or a client side debugging. So each and everything you will be able to do. Even code comparison you will be able to perform in a Pycharm IDE, which is not possible in a Jupyter notebook in general, right? So there are many features. So as you guys will progress, so you will get to know about this one. As of now, you're not supposed to use it as a beginner. Even in my classes, I won't be using a Pycharm in a beginning. I will be using Pycharm once I'll get into a project part, as we have already mentioned, like a 6 to 7 project, right? And that to end-to-end till deployment. So in Python itself, right? So like once we'll try to get into a project, so our entire project we are going to build, we are going to develop in a Pycharm itself. Again, guys who are comfortable with VS Code, they can go ahead with the VS Code. We don't have any kind of a issue with a VS Code. Fine. So I'm assuming that all of you are able to download, and it's just a few clicks, just like your Anaconda, right? It's just a few clicks and you all will be able to install it. So these are the two things that you are supposed to keep ready in your system. So before like progressing into a next session. Yeah. So now just tell say yes if you are able to install both of these things. Don't worry about like how it is going to work, or like how we are going to execute a code and all those things. I will be talking about those things starting from the tomorrow's class, right? But today we just have to do a installation. That's it. Nothing else we have to do in today's session. Just install it, keep it ready inside your system. Yes. Okay. So now if you guys can confirm that you all are able to do this two tasks, so I think we will be good. Okay, so like Vasant is saying that like a Pycharm is not available in Anaconda Navigator. It's completely fine, Vasant. Like you can try to download like a separately and then you can just use it. Okay. So how to install Pycharm? So I think I have. Let me ping you a link as well, right, in your chat box. So how to install Pycharm? So this is a link, guys. You all can use this link to like download, and then after downloading, so you can just click and then install, right? Just do the installation for both of these things because we are going to use it, right? And this is a link for an Anaconda Navigator. So yes, you can try to like download it and just keep it, right? Don't worry about this, like what we are going to do and what not we are going to do. Yes, just download it and keep it so that we can try to start our classes. We'll start understanding about all of those things from tomorrow's class. Yeah. So like guys, today was just an introduction, right? We are, like I said, and like I have already discussed about like a community classes from like I think on last 25th. So we have published a roster, and this was the roster that we have published. I think you all are able to like see it, and you all are aware about it, right? This is what like I'm expecting from your side. So these are the timings. So my time will be like 8 to 9, right? This will be like, this is something that I will be able to take, right? Along with your like this one. So interview preparation, right? So I will try to take like these 4 sessions from my side. Jivitesh is going to take this particular session, right? I think he was taking like a class, and there was some issue with their like a link and my link, and because of that I was not able to like conduct this like a science and data science architecture, right, class. But yeah, so like we have identified the issue, and from tomorrow, so I don't think that it is going to happen. Along with that, so like this is the list that we have published, right? So now we are going in full scale mode. So everything is going to start as per the schedule, right? So slowly, gradually, in phase 1, phase 2, so we'll start releasing these things. So probably even your data analytics class is going to start from tomorrow, right? Your data science interview preparation, all those things. So everything is like going to start again. Marketing side is going to start. DevOps is going to start in Hindi as well as in English. So in 2 languages we are going to start DevOps. Just feel free to attend any of these session. Everything will be live. Full stack also, app development also is going to start. And I think like Chris has already introduced data structure mentors, right? So like Manish and I think Priya Bhatia was there. I think Kush Verma was there. So yes, he has already introduced, and we are going to start like a 3 session. One will be like a Java. In a first phase, Java and DSA. And in a second phase, which is going to start from 25th of September, right? So we'll try to start a competitive programming, a live competitive programming. We are going to start, and where we'll try to like talk about live that, okay, fine. So how to solve a problem, and we'll try to solve it, right? We'll try to solve a problem in front of everyone, the kind of problem that people ask when you will go for the product development, like a, or whenever you will go for like a interview, right? So this is like a this is the timing, and this is already available on a Chris Naik channel of, like on 25th. So we have launched these things, and again, so I will try to post this same roster, right? And if there will be any updates, so I'll try to update a roster itself. So I'll try to post it in your like this video link itself in a video description. I'll try to post it by tonight, right? So I'll try to post it. You all can like download it, keep it with you, or maybe you can try to keep a link, and you will be able to see like a timings. So this is a timing that we have fixed day wise for each and everything, so you can just try to follow it, and slowly but gradually we are trying to start, and within like a 2 to 3 days everything will be started, right? So whatever is mentioned over here, so like we have started Python today, and just after this one, so we are going to start Spark as well. So today we are just going to talk about like what is Hadoop, what is big data, and then we are going to like get into a Spark part. So, and yes, we'll try to post a syllabus as well. Again, syllabus we have designed in such a way that end to end we are going to cover. And again, so that if you have done something over here, you will not have to like look for anything in any other platform, right? So this is the way we have created a syllabus, right? And yes, all of your feedbacks will be welcome, and any kind of a suggestions you can try to post it to us maybe in a comment. So you can try to like give us any kind of thoughts, any kind of and any kind of idea that you have, and we'll try to implement it based on the feasibility, right? So like based on the feasibility. And yes, guys, everything will be available. So for today, guys, I think this is it from my end. Keep your Pycharm installation and Anaconda installation ready, right, in your system. And from tomorrow, as per the schedule, right, as per the schedule, so again this time, like this timing for 1 hour, we are going to talk about Python programming 3 days in a week, right, for 3 hour. And then like before Python, so DSAR, data like a data science architecture. And then after this, Spark is going to start. Are we having Power BI session tomorrow? So yes, we'll try to start from tomorrow. Yeah, but yeah, so like it will be started whatever we have mentioned in roster, right? So like I said, within 1 or 2 days everything we are going to start. With that, guys, thank you so much, and see you again in tomorrow's class for guys who are just looking for a Python. With that, thank you so much. Why not C++ for DSA? See, like for DSA, like a language doesn't matter, right? So you can try to like start these things in a C++, or maybe in a C, or maybe in a Java, right? So we are going to start like a C++ class as well in parallel. So you can try to implement a C++. Language doesn't matter for DSA. Even whenever you will go for a product-based companies, right? So they will give you an option that, okay, fine. So would you like to do a coding in Java, C, C++, whatever, you can opt for that. And yeah, so for DSL, language is not a barrier at all. So yeah, but Python, many people used to say that Python you are not supposed to use for a data structure, like a data structure interview. But you can try to use like a you can try to use Python for, I would say, a machine learning, for a deep learning, for NLP, for a computer vision, for any kind of a AI related project. So Python is a language which has been used widely, but I would not recommend you to implement a data structure algorithm in Python, right? And sooner or later you all will understand. Yeah, maybe like this is too early for you, but yeah. And yes, guys, like I said, roster will be available, all the links will be available, everything will be available by tonight in the same video link itself. And we are going to make sure that playlist will be created for each and every session. So maybe in a future, if you would like to go through a playlist, if you have to like learn or revise again all of those things, so you can go through a playlist, and whatever notebook file I will be talking about, right, whatever notes I will be talking about, so everything will be available in a respective videos description itself. Okay, so fine, guys. With that, thank you so much, and see you again in tomorrow's class. Have a great night and day ahead.